I have a mom who lives by herself. When I brought up the idea of living near her home to be close to her, my husband, Ken, flatly rejected it, saying, "Sorry, but no. We're going to live with my parents." It felt like he just dismissed my feelings, insisting on his way without considering mine. Frustrated, I wonder what I could do next. My name is Erica. I'm 30, living with my husband Ken and our 6-month-old son, Sean. Ken and I work at the same company, though in different departments. We often collaborate on projects and share many acquaintances. Our colleagues celebrated our wedding with great enthusiasm, and I was determined to find happiness. Initially, we lived in Ken's cramped condo, so we talked about moving to a larger place, especially since we wanted kids. The plan was to move first and think about buying our dream home later. While browsing listings on my phone, I mentioned to him, "I don't want to quit my job even after we have kids." He smiled and responded, "You love your work. Do what makes you happy." But the daycare competition in our preferred area is tough. We need to think about that if I'm going back to work. "Yeah, you're right. We'll figure something out," he replied nonchalantly while scrolling through his phone. I then brought up the long-standing idea. "Hey, I've been thinking." "What's up?" "Well, I want to live closer to my mom's house in case something happens." "Why?" My dad passed away a few years ago, and now it's just my mom alone. I want to be able to rush over if needed." "But your mom is fine now. There's nothing to worry." "Well, yeah, she's fine now, but it would be nice to have someone close by to help out, especially when we have a child." He seemed annoyed by the suggestion. I tried to persuade him. "Imagine if it's just the two of us raising a child. It would be easier if my mom was nearby to help, so you wouldn't have to bear all the burden." "No way." "Why not? If we lived near your mom, we'd have to see her all the time. It would be awkward." "I'll try not to bother you too much with it." "But if you're not working because of the baby, we'll be living on my income. Why should I have to accommodate more?" I was stunned into silence. He coldly added, "Anyway, we're not living near your mom." "But once you're pregnant, you won't be able to contribute to rent or expenses. And yet, you want your surroundings just so? Isn't that a bit presumptuous?" His words were harsh. Being pregnant means I can't work, but does he have to be so negative? Shouldn't we be trying to support each other as a couple? I realized arguing further wouldn't help. We were newlyweds. I didn't want to fight over this. "Fine, let's drop it." I conceded and left the room, unable to bear the tense atmosphere any longer. Eventually, I gave up on living near my mom, and we moved closer to our workplace. Things were fairly smooth between us and at work, leading to a relatively peaceful life. Then one day, I found out I was pregnant. Despite the bittersweet feeling due to my career momentum, our child was the top priority. I worked up until my maternity leave, planning the handover carefully. With more free time, I visited my mom more often, while Ken was almost always working late. Facing the prospect of solo parenting, I felt overwhelmed and inexperienced. During one visit, I confided in my mom. "Mom, I'm really excited for this baby, but I'm also incredibly anxious." "What's wrong, Erica? This isn't like you. Ken's there for you." "Oh, he's been so busy." When I asked him to consider taking some paternity leave, he just yelled, "How can you expect that from me, a man?" I shared, my voice trembling. My mom looked worried as I decided to express my true feelings. "Mom, can I come back and stay here for a while after the baby's born?" "Well," she pondered, tilting her head. It'll be tough at first, and me traveling to your place every day is a bit much. It would be easier if you came here." "Really? Would that be okay?" "Of course. I'd love to be with my grandchild and help you. Nothing would make me happier." "Thanks, Mom. I'll talk to Ken about it when he gets home tonight," I said, feeling much lighter for having shared my concerns. She's right. I should talk to him. It's about our child, and we need to be able to handle things as a couple. That night, I discussed the idea with Ken, but his reaction was not what I had hoped for. "Move back home? You're joking, right?" "I'm serious." I leaned in, trying to persuade him. "Everything will be new and daunting at first, and I need to rest for a month postpartum. I won't be able to do any housework, so I want to go back home for a while." "That's out of the question. Who's gonna take care of my meals and laundry?" "You could manage that for a while, couldn't you?" "I work outside and do all the housework too? You're being unreasonable." "That's not fair." As I struggled for a response, he sighed deeply. "Fine, I'll help out. Is that what you want?" "You'll help out?" "Yeah, with childcare and housework. If I support you for the first month, there's no need for you to go back to your mom's, right?" Well, great. It's settled then. I'll help. You won't need to go back. That's the end of it." "All right." Reluctantly, I agreed. Though not entirely convinced, cooperating on childcare seemed like the best option. Despite some reservations, I chose to trust his words. I called my mom to explain the change of plans. "Oh, I was looking forward to it. But it's good if Ken's willing to help, right?" "Yes, but I felt safer knowing your experience with childcare." "There are plenty of couples who start from scratch without going back to their parents. Since he's offering to help, you two should give it your best shot." "Okay, I understand." As I was about to hang up, my mom called out to me. "Oh, and one more thing." "What is it?" "If anything happens, tell me right away. I'm always on your side." "Thanks, Mom. I'll try my best with Ken first. I need to put in the effort so I wouldn't worry my mom." That's how I resolved to focus on parenting with my husband. A few months later, our first son Sean was born, and the whirlwind of parenting began. Ken did help in his own way, like doing some shopping that didn't inconvenience him too much and taking out the trash I had collected. But he firmly stayed away from childcare. Not once did he change a diaper or make a bottle of milk. Exhausted from the unfamiliar tasks of parenting, I didn't have the energy to complain. Then one night, about 6 months into our parenting journey, as I returned to the living room after putting our son to bed, Ken came home. "I'm home." "Welcome home. I'll hurry and make dinner. Just give me a minute." "What? It's not ready yet? Couldn't you have at least prepared something beforehand so that I just have to warm that up? You're so inefficient." "That's not fair. Sean just fell asleep." "It's been half a year and you still can't put him to bed? What? Never mind. I'm going to take a bath. Have dinner ready by the time I'm out." With that, he left the room. What was that all about? Who does he think he is? He doesn't lift a finger to help with the baby, yet he demands perfection from me? My frustration grew, and I felt like lashing out, but I couldn't risk waking our son. I forced myself to calm down. 30 minutes later, Ken ate his dinner silently after his bath, and while I was dumbfounded by his attitude, he said he had something to tell me. "What is it?" "My mom called today. She fell and can't move her leg properly." "Really?" According to him, his mother had fallen while out shopping with a friend and was taken to the hospital by ambulance. Even hours later, she couldn't move her leg, and the doctor mentioned she might need care. That must be tough for your dad. Honestly, I was more concerned about his father than his mother. She had always been cold to me, even suggesting she didn't want a granddaughter when we announced our pregnancy. My father-in-law, who had always been supportive, reassured me. If anything happens, talk to me. I'll help if I can. He'd always tell me when I visit them. It must be tough for him now that his wife cannot move freely. I was picturing how things would be at their house when Ken proposed an unbelievable idea. So, I came up with this great idea. What is it? Let's live together at my parents' place. What? Don't you think it's a good idea? It would help with mom's care, and since you're not working right now, it would also reduce dad's work. He'd be happy. Wait, you're joking, right? I took a break from work for Sean's childcare, not to suddenly move in together. But it's been half a year. You must have gotten some breathing room by now. Mom's care is the top priority, understand? Was he serious? He so easily dismissed my wish to live near my mom, yet now, when it suits him, he insists on it. Living with that mother-in-law was out of the question. If we moved in, she and Ken would undoubtedly gang up on me. Unable to hold back, I vented my frustration. What the hell? When I wanted to live near my mom, you were so against it. Now when it's your family, it's okay? What's that supposed to mean? Your mom is healthy, isn't she? But unlike your mom, mine lives alone. What if something happens? Don't you care about my concerns? Enough! You married into my family. Just be quiet and listen. At that moment, any remaining affection I had for him vanished. He didn't care about my feelings or see me as an equal. It was not possible to continue this marriage anymore. Thinking from my silence that I had agreed, he stated, Anyway, moving in is decided. Start packing tomorrow. Okay. If only you'd listened from the start. After finishing his dinner, he went to bed without cleaning up. The next day, as soon as Ken left for work, I packed a minimal amount of belongings and left the house with our son, heading to my mother's. Although surprised at first, my mom welcomed us after I explained the situation. When Ken realized we were gone, he called. Where are you? At my mom's. Without my permission? Come back now. Sean's already asleep and I can't come back now. Actually, I don't plan to. What? My rare defiance was met with them yelling over the phone. If you don't come back now, we're getting a divorce. What do you think about that, huh? Divorce? That's right. I said we're moving to my parents. If we divorce now, you, being unemployed, will be in trouble. I could almost hear the smugness in his voice. Coldly, I responded, I don't mind at all. What? I have no objections to a divorce, so just send me the divorce papers. What are you talking about? You're the one who'd be in trouble if we got divorced. He probably thought he could bully me into submission. I was utterly appalled by his shallow thinking. If you want to move in with your parents, go ahead by yourself. I won't be joining. You think you can just decide that? I don't need your permission. We're getting a divorce after all. Why should I listen to a stranger? Who do you think you're talking to like that? I had reached my breaking point with this condescending attitude. Enough already! Who the hell do you think you are? How much more do you need to belittle me before you're satisfied? I didn't get married to become your effing maid. Enough with your disrespect towards women. What's wrong with you, Erica? Calm down. Calm down? How can I stay calm when I've been treated like this? I don't need a man who can't support me as his wife. Divorce? Fine by me. I'm better off without you. Live by yourself at your parents' place and don't drag me into your mess ever again. I hung up the phone furiously. I ignored all his subsequent calls. Then he started sending creepy emails. Erica, I can't live without you. We don't have to live together with my parents. Please come back. Let's live with your mom, the three of us. A month later, his emails stopped abruptly, and he agreed to the divorce, all thanks to my father-in-law. After Ken complained to his father, he ended up getting scolded instead. Listen, Ken, you can't just force someone into living together. But Dad, quiet. You need to understand better how things work. That's why your wife left you. Shame on you. My father-in-law demanded Ken sign the divorce papers. Reluctantly, Ken agreed. I filed the signed papers and we officially became strangers. My former father-in-law apologized to me afterward. I'm truly sorry, Erica. My foolish son must have caused you a lot of trouble. It's okay. It's all in the past now. Live your life your way. Thank you for everything. I couldn't be more grateful to him for his steadfast support. As for me, I'm now working as a single mother, doing my best to raise my son. With my mom's help, I strive to be a better parent every day. Marriage doesn't guarantee happiness. Even without a husband, having my beloved son and mother by my side is all the happiness I need.